Let's go.
Yep. So, yes, what the Gurukulam does is it doesn't do, so when we say instills here, it doesn't mean that, it sort of inculcates or uh, indoctrinates a child into certain things. It's not like, a certain injection is given of values or virtues or anything like that. What it does is it just enables an individual to invoke their own wisdom from within and to handle any kind of situations. I'm just combining the next slide also over here. So that is what it does. Life will throw a lot of struggles, a lot of problems in the form at every stage, even from when you, I think it begins from when you are a teenager itself. There is so much peer pressure and that and this, and then there is the pressure of examinations, and then you go on, then the pressure of getting a job and stuff, and then you step into a family life, and that comes with its own set of issues. So it is struggle after struggle after struggle. So yes, what we mean here by resilience and inner strength is that very thing that the Gurukulam does is it enables you to just see within yourself and arrive at an answer in your truth, in standing in your truth. And here, by this, I again want to make a point that it's not like a Gurukulam educated individual doesn't have any life, doesn't have any problems in life. It's not that. It's the same life is going to be given to, everybody who passes through the Gurukulam system also. But the way they are able to come out of these situations is with so much grace that it is a beauty in itself. They're not crumbling under pressure. They're not giving into any kind of pressure, or they're not giving up because of the struggles. That never happens. They are able to navigate through every challenge that comes between, in their way, very gracefully, and rise above it with a lot of grace. That is what the Gurukulam system enables in an individual.
And it's also connected to the previous topic that is there, which is the timeless values and not just transient skills.
Yes, absolutely. And by that, that's what it just evokes this wisdom within you, and you will be in complete alignment with your truth. And yes, timeless truths. Yeah, let me call it timeless truths, and or yeah, even if you want to call it values. So we can look at values like, we even discuss certain points like
Mm-hmm.
compassion. These
Mm-hmm.
these will never go out of fashion, or they never get outdated, or what else, like truth, like respect, like living in harmony. These are all eternal, timeless values that is there, and this is naturally sparked within an individual. It is naturally evoked from within. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it doesn't focus on transactional or transient skills, which are just superficial level. That is an outcome. That's what I'm saying, that they will be able to navigate through anything. And I mean, they will bring forth the skill when it's required. It seems
Mm-hmm.
magical. It seems like a superpower, but 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 it is what actually, it is the potential lying in every human being, but it goes unrealized when people are not awakened to it.
Okay. So the question from my side is that if you don't know what kind of issues that you're going to face in the life, because life is not something that we are able to predict and say, okay, this is what it's going to be, right? And what kind of situations that you're thrown at is not something that you're going to know upfront. And when it comes, you'll need to know how to handle it and navigate it through. So if there is a case, if it is all going to be dynamic, if it's all going to be unknown to begin with, it's not that you know what exactly the situation that you're going to get into. When I arrive at a problem, I'll figure out how do I navigate this through. I'll understand how do I handle the situation, how do I get out of it, how do I find a solution for it when a specific problem happens to me. I can learn it at that time, just in time, and apply it for my life and get going with it. Why should I prepare for something which is not even certain that I may even encounter this? I may not even require to know about this because I don't know if I'm going to have trouble with this or not. Right? For example, resilience. I'll figure out how do I handle a financial situation when I get into a financial situation. I'll need to figure out how do I handle my emotional imbalances or whatever when I get into an emotional state of that sort. I learn it when I encounter a problem and I get there. Why prepare for all of these things ahead in time, in advance, as a part of my Gurukulam way of learning, when I don't even know whether I'm going to get into that issue or not, and what kind of issues I'm going to get into or not? Why
Yes,
spend time and energy and
I
investment on it?
agree with you. Inevitably, life is unpredictable. So
Mm-hmm,
at the Gurukulam, we are not using some magical oracle power to say that, this is what will happen in your life, and therefore you should do this step by step. It's no way. It is very unpredictable.
mm-hmm,
But when it happens, the thing is there is so much torment in that when it's happening. And there's so much suffering that happens, there's so much pain, and it seems prolonged, and it is prolonged in many cases. The bigger the problem, the more number of days, and the more sometimes it even manifests into years and years. But that kind of and that is a drain on your energy, on your mental health, on your physical health also. In many situations it is a drain. It is draining your energy to such an extent that you are not able to focus on the aspects that truly matter in your life. That kind
mm-hmm,
of alignment is lost. So but what happens here is, that's what I mean, it readies them for any kind of forbearance, any kind of future. It doesn't matter. So a person, if you take a person who undergoes the Gurukulam education,
mm-hmm,
and if a person who is not privileged enough to have undergone this system or these kind of learnings and not being awakened to it,
mm-hmm,
the time that is found in recovery, and the prolonged time that goes in that, the healing that is supposed to happen here, it's almost instantaneous. How are they able to rise over every situation that they don't know? But over here, that's what, like I said, it translates, it can be minutes, it can be hours, sometimes days, sometimes months, more often years.
mm-hmm,
So they are able to overcome it and rise above it, no matter what. So if you are given a choice
mm-hmm.
that such a problem will come in your life, and then you will have to struggle to overcome it uh, for 10 months, versus you can overcome it in 10 minutes, what will you choose? The obvious answer is, I mean, let the obvious
I
answer
know
be
I
the
don't want to get
obvious
into a
answer.
problem at all to begin with.
Exactly. But that's what
Yeah,
I'm
I think
saying.
that's where that's it comes from. It's like I think we spoke about this. If
Mm-hmm,
it's like we live our life in trial and error otherwise.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So whose
जो
side are you
होगा
on right
जब
now,
होगा तब
Nutan?
देखेंगे. I'm on Uttan's side.
Okay,
Like see you, let's balance it. No, you and Ma, me and Uttan there.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
sorry, yeah,
so
go ahead.
it's
Sorry.
like
Uh,
yeah, so it's like we can see there is always a choice. Learn
mm-hmm,
as you go. But then
mm-hmm,
that's not learning, that's adjusting, and that's somehow squeezing and managing. And life, if the core principle of Gurukulam is learning,
mm-hmm,
becoming a self-learner, life is always giving you. We look at life as an opportunity for learning. It could come it could come as an opportunity itself. It could come packaged as a problem. It could come
mm-hmm.
packaged as an event, as a milestone. But all of them are learning opportunities from our point of view.
Okay.
Now, a person who's not been, let's say, through the Gurukulam system, they are just being pushed around into all these situations.
Mm-hmm.
They might prefer some, they might not prefer some. Then are you even living or enjoying life, or are you just, you know, managing through it?
Yes.
Okay. So
And there are, sorry, I'll just,
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
please go ahead. I'll take it up later. I just wanted to add one point
Yeah, please,
also.
please add it. Yeah.
No, so going through stuff like this, you might think that, yeah, what's the point? I'll overcome it. But unknowing to you, there are many repercussions which happen, uh,
Mm-hmm,
which is, the present situation. You will see that uh, people just don't want to get married and have children.
mm-hmm,
So what I see at it is, it's the way their inner self is just giving up on life. They're like, this life is meaningless, so in this kind of life, why will I bring a child to this world? That's
mm-hmm,
that's just giving up on life in itself. And these are the kind of outcomes that come with it. But whereas life in itself is so meaningful and so joyful. You can make every moment joyful. So when you are truly not enjoying it, or at the outset, it may seem like that, that you are enjoying it. But from within, when it doesn't translate into that satisfaction or joy within, unknowingly to you, it will translate like this. Like, it will come out like Korea right now. Actually, it's such a sad situation. Last year, or I don't remember, 2024 or 2025, in the capital of their country, in all the kindergarten schools put together, there were just 150 admissions of children. Why? Because there is currently a movement in the entire country. The women are giving up. It's out of oppression, obviously, in fighting for their rights. This is one way. They are saying we are not furthering, living in this kind. We will not get married. We are not having children. So if you see, and this is, they are shocked at it, just 150 children who are born and who are enrolled in the entire capital city. It's come like a shocking thing for them, that basically they're just giving up. So think about it, in about 10, 20, 25, 50 years, that entire population will be wiped out. So that is where they are in, so it takes a toll on the inner being. It just gives up. It's like, you are not learning enough, so leave it. Let me just cut it here. So these are the kind of consequences that happen at a macro level, unknowing to you. So this might be a single person struggle, but if you take an overview or a holistic view of it, this is what it translates to.
Okay. So yeah, the dire situations of those geographical places and locations and countries, setting that apart, if we look at our situation here as a reality of what you were speaking about, parents of Bharata, for me, if I have to think of it, that I am going to prepare myself for life, irrespective of what kind of a situation might arrive at for me in the later part of life. Maybe if it happens to me, I may take a month to recover from it. Why should I invest starting from the beginning, a good part of my life while I'm learning, on things that I may not even be encountering, for example, right? So for all that we know, because of all the kind of learning that I have and attitude that I have towards learning, some of the situations may not even arise because I have a different outlook towards it, right? So why should I even have my child spend time on something that they're preparing for, which may not even occur in the future, is where
You're
I'm
right.
coming from.
Yes,
Correct?
absolutely. So again, I'd like to reiterate one of the points I made earlier, saying that if a person has no complaints in life at any level, okay, personal level also, societal level, at a system level also, and stuff like that, that person can comfortably say. But the truth of the matter is not, at the outset, that's what, like, it may seem like, life is smooth and everything, but like Raiva said, they are just managing. You learn to manage over time. Okay, you become numb to it. So there comes a time when you don't even know that everything is a struggle. You're just sort of like pushing through like a machine. But are you wholly and consciously living every moment and experiencing life as it was meant to be, as it was gifted to you?
Mm-hmm.
There is a big difference in functioning like a robot or a machine, or in actually feeling every moment and living joyfully.
That's a outcome of it that you're talking about. Okay. So if I have to look at it, it's like buying into an investment, I mean, insurance, right? So a lot of people shy away from buying an insurance because I don't know, I'm investing so much money on an insurance, which I may not ever claim health insurance typically, right? So you're talking about something like that. So
Yeah.
what percentage of people buy insurances, health insurances, is what it is we're talking about. If you are prepared for that, if you are somebody who believes that I have an insurance that will take care of me instead of me shelling out lakhs and lakhs of money when it occurs, I'm going to have this as a backing to support me with it. If that is the kind of mentality you have, yes, you can look at it as a thing that is going to protect you when things go wrong. That is a good investment to make. If otherwise, if you think like, oh, I don't know, I never fall sick, I'll never buy health insurance.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one way of looking at it, but it's also a very it's a very dystopian way of looking at it. So this is not the only reason that you come here for, right? So this is an eventuality. If there is, I'll be able to sail through. But the plus side is you get to discover yourself, you get to enjoy yourself, and you get to admire yourself, and you get to love yourself. Actually, yeah. So
Yeah.
the plus side is the biggest reason should be this. And an outcome of this is you will be able to maneuver through anything that life throws in your way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just put both the points, the previous one with the values and this one together. It is really not about problem solving in the first place. I know that's how we think of it right now because of the way uh, the society and the world thinks right now. But the values, if a child is educated with values that associate with a greater truth, it is really not based on rights and wrongs, do's and don'ts, but something more human, more in line, which is organic with us. And we are also on the path of self-learning, self-discovery, and living a life with purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Then resilience and inner strength, we don't need them for problem solving at all. It is something that we have as part of us.
Mm-hmm.
To that entire responsibility which we were talking about earlier, it's how we respond to the signals universe throws at us and how we can navigate through for our own better growth. It need not even be a problem.
Yeah. So there is something that I need to agree on here. By mentioning this point, I'll be giving away a point towards in the favor of a Gurukulam, because this we for sure know, all of us who are here talking about it, and also people who have come from a academic background, we all know that this is not something that we ever heard about it while we were, you know, preparing for our life, coming through our academic structure. This is never that was something that was spoken about. It was like you deal with it when it occurs to you. The only place that I can see this happening is in the Gurukulam. By saying that I'm throwing the point away, but this is what it is. So a true thing there is that if you recognize these are the essential values to have in life, and this is something that would be required to deal with things much more gracefully when it occurs, or if it doesn't occur, at least you have the grace that things were taken care of, that it never occurred. Gurukulam is the part of it. Is a way of going towards it. If we see it otherwise, we could just let go of it and ignore it as if it never existed. We don't speak about resilience. We don't speak about anything of that sort. Like देखा जाएगा जब आएगा. So if you want to take it as we go, hit and miss, fine. If not, I mean, this is the only place where these kind of things are given more prominence to and attention to, so that it becomes a part of your living. So with that, I think knowing that this is not something that is dealt in an academic structure, I think we will need to give it out to Gurukulam here to say, okay, if anybody or anyone is trying to do this, it's only the Gurukulams across ages. So can we rest with that? And
Yes.
one point to you.
Yes.
Okay.
So we move to this.
Yes.
Yes.
Gurukulam
Gurukulam education prepares a child for careers of the future, for any eventuality in the future, for the future itself, for every day. So the human race, the kind of development it's made over the last 15, 20 years has been astronomical, which is not seen over millennia of, like, you know, since the time of evolution. Like we went from the evolution of TVs happened in about 20 years, okay, to what it is today, to smart TVs. Mobile phones have evolved in a space of like 10 years. So that's half the time. So now it's come to smart watches, and you know, you can take your calls on watches and everything. So yeah, and AI has just taken 3 years, and it is, and day by day there is a change which is happening so fast. And Bharatji, you can totally talk about this at length for sure. But by the time you begin learning AI, and then over 3 days time you learn it, on the third, fourth day there is something else new which has come. You know, I got acquainted with AI, and on the fourth day there is something known as AI agent, which can manage everything which I was learning to do right now. So it's happening that fast in a matter of days like that. So how do you keep up with this? So how do you, so you can, one can only imagine what the future would be, but that would be left to a wild imagination itself. So whatever happens, the love for learning is there in a Gurukulam child, and the will to persevere and the adaptability is key here for the individual through who goes through the Gurukulam education. They'll be able to sail through it without any difficulties, without any fear. In fact, they will love it. Like, they will love the journey, and they will be able uh, to adapt
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah, this is again another point that I'll not debate for the sake of debating, because we had a longish discussion about it, about preparing children for lifelong learning and making somebody fall in love with it. So this is again a topic that we spoke about in detail when we did the career talks discussions, right? So when we talk about careers of the future, when you say preparation for it, it is not like I have a syllabus that is there in academic system that is going to prepare me for the future careers, because what is going to be there in the future careers, nobody knows. It's
Yeah.
such a change of technology that has happened, and what new is going to come is something that is just left for imagination, and we'll just land there and we'll need to be ready to pick it up. At that point of time, I don't know if there is going to be any academy which is going to be teaching me at that point of time, because we are all used to this way of it, right? I have to have my child go somewhere to learn, and learn from somebody is what we are all grown into. That's what we are all hardwired. So if I have to learn something, it should be an academy, it should be a coaching center, it should be a school, or whatever it is. I need to go somewhere to learn it. But with the kind of advancements that are happening in terms of the requirements for the future careers, I don't see that there is any preparedness for us, because nobody is able to predict what's happening. When something comes and lands, people who know, who learned it quickly, are able to sell it and teach it. So all these things that you just mentioned about the AI agents and workflows and all of those things, none of the academic structures today have it in the curriculum yet, because this is something that every week there's something new coming in. And people who are good at learning, they are able to learn it quickly and teach it to people who are interested in learning them, and make their living out of it and make a change in the society. So this is what is happening. So it means I need to be prepared for the skills of learning by myself. If something new is arriving there, I know there is nobody to sit me in a classroom and teach me. I need to be a self learner so that I can learn all of these things by myself. So this is something that has to be prepared, because the way we are banking on a structured way of academic learning is that I need to go somewhere. This is the syllabus. I'm going to cover this. I'm going to be graded based on how much I score, and I'm ready for it. But something new comes, there's no structure for it yet.
Yes.
So not blaming the system, because this is the technology that is doing this. Then it's not that the academic system doesn't know
Yeah.
how to deal with it, but they don't know. Nobody knows.
Nobody
So if
knows.
only you are ready as a self-learner, will you be able to do it yourself? Because you'll all be in silos. There's nobody to talk to and understand, because the second person sitting next to you doesn't even know about it. You picked up something, you find it is interesting and required for your life and your livelihood and your career, whatever, you need to be a self-learner to pick it up. So this again is a core philosophy of a Gurukulam education, where a child is prepared to become a self-learner. So hands down, it takes it away. I just don't want to argue for the sake of it. I don't want to debate over a losing topic on this. Unless Raiva, you have anything to add, counter?
Yeah, I actually felt we were more on the losing side.
Why? That's
So
an
I
interesting
think
thing. Okay, let's switch
both,
sides.
yeah, I think we it's
Why,
because
Raiva?
even when we spoke about lifelong learning, we realize how people associate learning with studying.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure whether the society today is in a place where, first of all, Gurukulam, when they say it goes back in time, not forward.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gurukulam education, which is talking more about spiritual stuff, how will that teach my child technology?
Mm-hmm.
So there are two things over here. One is Gurukulam education sounds like, we are going to go back in time. It's all going to be about the self and spirituality and living in harmony with natural stuff and how nature already works, versus future, which right now in everybody's imagination is technology, being smart, being quick, being adaptable,
Mm-hmm.
and probably going a little more further away from the way natural humanity is. So I'm not sure whether those two really connect well for parents or for people.
But that is because the parents are unaware of what actually a Gurukulam is. A Gurukulam is basically something that gives priority to self-knowledge and self-awareness first, because that is the one thing that is unchanged no matter what the era is, what the day and what the future is. So
And
that is the one.
those are the two most abstract words you've used: self-knowledge and self-awareness. Most people don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because since you were on Careers of the Future, I think on Monday, day 3 or day 4, we're having a whole section on it. So there's been a breakdown of every skill that is required for future careers. What should children learn to have successful careers in future? There is a finer breakdown of it, which will be treated as a separate section. So if you all are okay with it, we could discuss it when we come to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely.
But who's getting the point? If you can catch me up on what's happening
We got the
so
point.
far.
Yes.
So we must, people who are saying that Gurukulam is not the way for you, we are still leading. So the Gurukulam activists are right now trying to catch up. There are 6 points
From this section, 6 points, is it?
till now. Yeah. So here the last 2 points and this one putting together, there's 3 points that is to be allocated yet. So with those 3
Oh.
points coming in, they're coming up to 9. So they're very closely behind us.
No, let me completely convince them. You go back to the point from where we have to take the point, just move the slide back to that, and then I'll ensure that we get the points.
The one before this was about resilience.
Fosters
then-
resilience.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and then the other one was about lifelong values, like
timeless,
timeless values.
not
Ah.
just transactional or transient
Yeah.
skill.
Okay, so here I start off with what the Gurukulam actually instills. Okay, and I know you would have spoken a lot about values, but we have to understand that the society in large confuses values with a lot of morality. Right? So the minute you say value-based education, immediately it goes to you should be kind, you should be this, you should be. There's always this good-bad differentiation and the right-wrong differentiation that comes. What is expected when you say value education? Whereas the foundations of Gurukulam are not meant on those, not based upon those differences of good and bad and right and wrong. In fact, the minute you start saying good and bad, it's not Gurukulam anymore. Any aspect of self-knowledge and self-awareness really cannot come with good and bad going on. So is that acceptable?
Yeah.
If a parent cannot even get the idea that values are beyond knowing what is good and bad, right? If that idea itself is not there, then the Gurukulam is not for your child.
Yeah, if your worldview is only very, it's like binary, you see it in
So
two
we get the
parts.
point, Nutanma. We get the point. Because we take, see, either people can say, okay, Rama killed Bali hiding behind a tree. Rama suspected his wife. How can this be right? And throughout our scriptures have never spoken about right and wrong. Our scriptures have always been about what is appropriate.
Yes.
So it's a value itself is a very loose translation of dharma.
Mhm.
So the whole thing flops. If you're not open enough to encompass that vision, then definitely the Gurukulam is not for your child. Right? Because we as a people are the only people who can proudly say, even if I'm called to a court of law, they ask me to keep my hand on what and promise that I speak the truth. Which is that scripture?
It's a
Kis pe
Gita.
haath rakh ke? Kis pe haath rakh ke kasam lena hai humko, right? Yeah, and Gita begins with very loosely someone can translate it and say that Krishna is actually telling Arjuna to follow his swadharma even if it is his family on the other side. So will a parent be comfortable with that? With the child coming and telling that this is my swadharma I'm following. Today, are parents mature enough for that? If you're not, then the Gurukulam is not for your child. Point ours.
Taken.
Taken. Bharatji, next one.
But I can't help agreeing with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that is just like this team can't help agreeing with you. We'll go for the next one.
Yes. So we
Okay,
spoke.
sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot I had suppressed.
Resilience and inner strength, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so yeah, the common view of resilience and inner strength. I think Raiva was just speaking about it. It's not about problem solving. Who earns resilience, inner resilience and inner strength? Someone who can really, really fall in love with themselves. And then it comes to what is the meaning of a Gurukulam. An entire community that is awakened with the Guru within. Guru is the energy within. And that Guru within can have a representation beyond your body in the form of another human being, in the form of a scripture, in the form of a devata, or in the form of a content itself. Like in Leela Gurukulam, we're very clear that the content that we are delivering is the Guru. You have to link up to that. And that is the deepest love, that is the purest love you can ever have. So is today's home a place, a safe space to facilitate that relationship? Like there are two parents here. Bharatji is here, Nutanma, both of you as parents, right?
Yeah.
You know what it means when your children come back and tell you the love they have for their Guru.
Yes.
Which transcends even what you tell them.
Yeah.
And you have to facilitate that. Sometimes even without knowing what the process they're going through.
Yeah.
So how many parents and families do you think are not going to say a child is getting brainwashed by one person or one scripture? So if that place for love for the Guru is not there, then you don't learn love for the self. Then what happens? Right? So this point is completely ours. Resilience and inner strength comes from a deep sense of self-love. Point is ours, Bharatji.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, be humanity.
Yeah, make the declaration again, Nutan. I should do it in every session.
Yeah, every point that they win is a point lost by humanity. This is a loss for humanity. And I feel very sorry for it. I'm truly very
Remember, this is our resilience sentence.
See, this is your resilience. This is your inner strength.
It is.
Because you're one of those fortunate adults who got a chance to go back and be Gurukulam educated for the past 6 years. You took that journey.
It has been.
How many parents do you think will take that journey today? It's all about, here's my child. It's dropping a car in a mechanic shop, right? Just make this thing work and give it back to me. And then we come to the last one, which was about
the careers part is there I switched sides.
You did? You
yes,
did?
I switched sides for it.
Swapped. Yeah. I came on the Gurukulam is not for you side.
This I switched sides coming from knowing the world of the future careers and what is happening and how people are getting prepared for it and how much corporates are spending time and money on preparing employees for this and how they're failing. Having seen that firsthand and seeing what our children at the Gurukulam are doing, I had to switch sides.
You had to, right? Be honest and true to yourself.
Yes.
So this is a historic moment. I think it's the first time and it'll be the last time ever that I am pitching against you, Bharatji.
Okay.
That has never happened. But you are able to say this because you have exposure of the actual need in the world out there. There are many people who are not there.
Yeah.
Because where is this showing its ugly face? That we are not having employable people in our country. At least in our country, we are not having people who are employable, not qualified. Yes, they're qualified. But in order to be employable and to have a future outlook, forget future. Today itself, there is a big dearth in the quality of people that have those skills that you're looking in future careers, right? Now, you're a person exposed to it because you've been in that field. How many of the parents? You step out of Bangalore, the project that children do at Hospet,
yes.
Their parents are still entrance exam, NEET exam. It's still there. Even now, they're looking at it as that. They're not realizing that you're sitting in 2025, in 2040. This is not going to be the landscape of careers. This is not going to help children. And what's going to help children is not coming. So, yes, we as Gurukulam, we are running Mindscape 40.
Yes.
Generally, if Mindscape 40 goes to anybody who's having your background, they should recognize it.
Yes.
You are having sensorial evidence because you're seeing the children at our Gurukulam being trained for it. You're having first-hand experience. A 10-year-old and a 13-year-old are having their own entrepreneurship. They're starting like a small startup, and they're being guided into that experience. 11-year-old, 12 years old are preparing curriculum and content for schools, going and training 300 children and coming back. You're seeing them do that. You're seeing batch one Sauparnika of how they're executing it.
Yeah.
And it is right in front of your eyes that they're exhibiting all the skills that any giant business today would actually just hope at least 10% of the people have.
Yeah, true.
But how are you going to convince any other parent about it? If Mindscape 40 spreads among all the parents who have your exposure, do you think they are even in a place to even believe that this is possible? The story of the shaman and the ships?
Yes.
When the ships were arriving, the South Americans wouldn't believe that it's possible to cross the ocean, so they didn't see these giant vessels.
Yeah.
Till the shaman showed them, look, it's standing right in front of you. So, yeah.
That is what I'm hoping to do. I'm trying to show the people of the world this ship called the Gurukulam exists. See, people.
And
they don't know such a thing exists, so they can't see the ship. It is there. It's right in front of their eyes. It's under their noses. They are not able to see. But once they see it, they can never unsee it, and they'll never be able.
That is true. That is true. One scene you'll never unsee.
The magnanimity of it.
But even to look at it, even to be able to see it, behold it.
Yeah.
If they don't, they'll turn back to you and say, okay, that you have done something different for your child, and now you're going around trying to convince everybody else. Right? So, are people ready for this? If a parent doesn't even have a vision, doesn't even have the slightest thought that 10 years down the line, the careers and the job landscape is not going to be this, and it really is asking for something else. If that minimum basic thought is not there, then is the Gurukulam for your child?
Yeah, that's what it calls for. Just a minimum thought on this. Just one thought. Take it, reflect on it, and you will see for yourself.
Yes, so yeah, that point 2 is ours then. So are you coming back, Bharji?
Yeah, for this point, yes. There's again the lack of awareness. That's exactly the shaman and the South African people, right? This is exactly the problem today. It's a lack of awareness of what is gonna land at your doorstep. You don't know what it is going to be. So unless you are open to seeing or accepting that there's going to be something that I don't know, accepting the unknown, right? That is something that is not gonna make people take the plunge or hop onto the boat that they've seen.
Yeah, I think the bigger issue is that if somebody doesn't have an idea that the rivers or the oceans can be crossed, you're showing them something new. Here, what is being shown as something new has another definition for everyone. At least if nobody knew about Gurukulams and we are the first ones presenting it, or the word Gurukulam or ancient knowledge or ancient wisdom, it would have been easier. But now, even that is stereotyped.
Exactly.
So it's just
that's
like
another point that I
layers.
wanted to go on to talk about it, right? When you talk to any parent saying Gurukulam and future and careers, there is a contrast in 3 words. You're talking Gurukulam and you're talking about career and you're talking about the future. Gurukulam is supposed to be the thing of a past, and people from Gurukulam are supposed to be sitting in the tree or doing something in the puja room or in the temple. That's what people still stereotype Gurukulams to be. Chanting mantras is all that we can go back to. So these 3 words, it kind of oxymoronic in a way, not to undermine it, but that's how it is seen and pursued.
And I'll add one more to it from Leela Gurukulam side, board games.
Yeah, careers and board games. Board games are supposed to be fun, entertainment.
It's too much for
it's too much,
for
right?
The brains to wrap their head about it. Like, it's all extremities.
Absolutely. So it's like now what the familiarity aspect has gone out of the window now, because there is this idea about Gurukulam being a Veda Patashala. There should be a hut and a tree and an old man, and those typical things. And then the confusion of whether it's religious, and then the confusion of, okay, which sampradaya, whose opinion, whose principle, who's the guru there, who's the person who everyone has to become like.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes
Role
without
model.
knowing, parents try to do that. They take the guru's name and we want you to become like this person. And the guru is like, no, you have to become like what you are.
Wow.
Right? So the whole thing about Gurukulam itself that way is super confusing. So what's our tally right now in both the categories put together?
So we are
Do we even have points?
12
Yeah.
and 6. We are 12 and 6.
For a brief moment, we had those three. Now it's slid
Yeah.
away.
No, it's 12 and 6, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, see, we have one more category for tonight. And
Yes.
that's a very powerful category on your side, but I'm here to break it. And then the next 3 days, we have, together we have how many? 27?
Yes. For today.
Today, 27.
Today, 27, and then 27 on every day. So 27 points for grabs on every day. The team that is convinced that the Gurukulam is not for your child is winning by 12 points right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hope, Nutanma. Don't give up.
No,
By
I'm
the-
not giving up.
By the end of 4 days, at
I
least,
have hope.
forget the 5th day. By 4 days, at least, I'll convince you completely that you should stop your Gurukulam activism.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think
So
this
yes,
is the first time in history where people running a Gurukulam who have lived the life of a Gurukulam is convincing people not to take up Gurukulam
absolutely.
for the right reasons.
And absolutely for the right reasons. Because if anyone here wants to get into a Gurukulam, you have to understand why it might not be for you.
Yeah.
The only reason for me to be strongly advocating this is because I've seen what children suffer through. When parents are not prepared and they're not in line, and they're thinking of Gurukulam as an alternative education. So you have your mainstream academic training, which you think is education, and then you're pitching Gurukulam to be an alternative for that. Assuming that what is done through the mainstream school education, the same end results will be given by Gurukulam in an alternative method.
Yes.
So if that is a thought process, then actually Gurukulam is not for your child. So it's for the child's sake that I'm doing this. So by the end of it, if everyone sitting here is convinced, that'll be a great victory for me. That includes Raiva also. Yes, shall we move on to the next category, or do we have a break?
Yes.
Well, if I get convinced, I'll have to look for a new career.
You look for a new life, actually. You've been living this.
Yeah, but I really second Ma on the whole.
Mm.
If parents are not in line, even I have seen, be it in my own batch or children right now. Luckily, we have like a group of all of you parents, right? You are in it knowing that there are things you don't know.
Yes.
So you flow with us. There is that faith that okay, there's some things the mentors who are trained, who have walked the path, will guide us through. But it's not everybody who can have that. So for us, it's easier to, it's an easier partnership between the mentor and parent in this case. But even in those little moments where it slips right, where something or the other takes over very naturally, which is not even like a blame thing. It might be a communication slip or it might be a understanding slip between the mentor and the parent, but I see what the child goes through at that time. It could
Yeah.
be 1 day, 1 week, but it is an input which is going to them in their formative years, which could shape their entire thought process. So that's why even this entire series is making me rethink and just not even rethink. It's more of like polish what I'm doing.
And whatever you have learned from the Gurukulam need not lead you to run a Gurukulam or be a mentor at a Gurukulam. There are so many ways in which you can bring yourself out into the world. Since there are two parents of the Gurukulam, there's one person who is actually running the Gurukulam. Between the three of you, and of course, Nutanma also doubling up as a Gurukulam activist who's really in this passion for the whole world to know the power of the Gurukulam. Every idea has got its time. Is this a time? Just think about it once. Let the number of children having learning difficulties and disorders grow. It has gone from 3% to almost 20-25% of a classroom today who has got some kind of learning difficulty or disorder, as the world calls it. And we all know it is spiritual deficiency of spiritual development, which is expressed as some learning difficulty. Let it reach. Let people get cornered, right? Let the need come. When we started our Diksha course, first week after COVID, 2,000 children enrolled in it overnight. Because the fear of death made them run to Sanatana Dharma. So is it time for this idea? See, always understand that, when the yuga changes, when there's a transition of the yuga Purushas have to be born. There are a lot of people who take upon this role and be placed in this role of doing something first. Disruption starts there. And disruption is not going to be a very welcome thing. It will become a norm. What your activism is all about, Nutanma, is going to become the norm 15, 20 years from now. Definitely, not even till then. Look, even the policy is saying it, right? You look at NEP, you look at NCFSC, it's come on paper. Of course, paper to execution takes time. But how does it feel when you open a new education policy of your country? And the first thing you're seeing is the essence of your own ancient education system there. You're seeing the Panchakoshas being written there. You're seeing Pramanas being written there. But sadly, after that, it goes back to the same academic content. And you really don't know if teachers and school administration of this country can really take up what that approach is. And then there are people who have begun to feel that it's a Hindu agenda. But somewhere it has started, right? Somewhere the trickle has started. So you, Nutanma, are way ahead of your time. That's the problem. This disruption and this time.
Towards it. And it is an eventuality that they will wake up to this, because everybody across the world is rebelling in some form or the other. They are rebelling against religion in some quarters. Some people are taking up, like we discussed earlier, environmental activism. There is an activism of every kind. In fact, activism is becoming the new religion. In that way, I am saying being a Gurukulam activist is the mother of all activism that there is, because the solution to all problems is education. So for everything that you say, slowly people will wake up, or will, step by step come to this and realize that the root of everything lies here.
See, Europe has realized what education means to a child, right? Europe has realized that academic training is working in the reverse direction for the child's growth. And they are doing completely play-based activities during the entire childhood. The child is getting into academic training only later. So 15, 20 years from now, these children will become the strongest adults of the future. They will be able to rule the world in whatever they do, because they're preparing the younger generation better. The countries like Finland and Canada, which are taking all children in their toddlerhood and focusing on taking care of the learning difficulties, irrespective of if somebody is marked as autistic or not. They're taking that wonderful view of what needs to be done, and the investment is going in the younger years. So imagine a world where the salary of teachers is reversed, because the toughest job you have is at the youngest age. Look at the work that's happening in pre and perinatal education. So it's all moving towards there. But is Gurukulam for a parent today? if you don't have that vision, if you don't have that thought, if you don't have the seeking to give the best to your child, and that almost all parents have. All parents, even before you become a parent, you already decided that you're going to give the best to your child. Right? So when it comes to education, why look for an alternative when you are presented for the real deal? Why an alternative? This is the real deal. But are you in a place where you can see it? And if you can't see it, and if your child is in that system, how will you support your child then? Until and unless you sign up to learn along with your child.
Yeah. So the Gurukulam is for the parents of today, and therefore it will become a thing that is required for the children of tomorrow.
Absolutely. And you put parents into a system that the brain is always going to work and give mind messages of utility and futility, right?
Mm.
So where am I utilizing what I'm learning? Where am I applying it, and what am I getting out of it? So that then I get my own sensorial anubhava pramana, that this content and this method is the best thing that I have got in my life, and therefore I want my child to have this. That journey is a really, really long journey. So that you have 6 points itself is great right now. So Bharaji and I actually not doing a very good job. We should have been at, 18-0 or something like that. Okay, so 9 points more to go now for the
Yes.
day. And very interesting, very, very interesting category. The category that's going to deal, I think, directly about foundations of Sanatana Dharma. See.
Yeah.
So now we are going to come to the tricky stuff. Religion.
Before, yeah, maybe we can keep it to the end. Yeah, let's go ahead, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
Yes.
bash it up. Okay. Let's see. Let's watch how Bharaji will talk why you don't need Sanatana Dharma in your life. That will be fun to watch. Shall we take a break and come back?
Yes.
Yeah.
5 minutes?
Yes,
Okay.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Very good to go.
Okay, so our next category is about the foundations of Sanatana Dharma and how it plays out in education, right? Okay,
Yes.
so let us set a foundation for the purpose of this talk. What do we mean when we are saying Sanatana Dharma? Because everyone is free to make their own interpretations of what Sanatana Dharma means, how they want to go about it, etc. Right? So, as far as we are concerned, Sanatana Dharma, and we let's start off from another place. There are some principles in the universe, or there are some phenomena in the universe that has always been, that will always be. For example, the very aspect of time and space itself, right? Let's, with all credit given to the great work that Einstein has done, getting an understanding of the time-space fabric itself, it's something that has always been and always will be. Similarly, you think of when it comes to the perspective of human life, think about anything abstract. Tell me anything abstract, any one thing which is abstract.
Love.
Love, pain, abundance, right? Abundance of prosperity exists. How it expresses itself in human life experience is different for each person, and it's different from time to time as well. But the principles of abundance have always been. There's no shift there. So, the universal principles that apply to human life, that apply to individual human experience as well as our collective, put together, are given to us by the rishis of Bharata, and this is what we call as Sanatana Dharma. So they're eternal because it's not that they were created or founded by somebody. It's not based on an ideology, an opinion, a philosophy, or a theory. It is something that is the existence of the universe, the principles of the phenomena that binds the universe, and everything abstract that relates to human life is given to us as Sanatana Dharma. And who are the people who have given it to us? Rishis of Bharata. Now, where did the rishis receive it? And rishis are not human beings who were born at one particular time and they're not there. A rishi is basically any human being who learns through self-revelation. It's not the same as being self-taught. It's not the same as being a self-learner. It is one who receives self-revelations and follows that path of learning. So this is the fundamental of what a rishi is and what Sanatana Dharma is. So whatever the rishis have given us as Sanatana Dharma are universal principles that have been revealed to them. Now, how does this kind of revelation happen? If you plug into the universal knowledge network, you get it. Is there one special group of people who had that capacity that today we do not have? No, they themselves have very clearly given us guidance that there is a rishi within each one of us. Each one of us are capable of learning through self-revelation. An example for this is, we all know that we exist. We are aware. We are self-aware. We know that we exist. And because we know we exist, we know everything else exists. Anything that you can never know, you can ever know, you only know it because you know that you exist. If you don't know that you exist, there's no existence at all. But if you ask yourself the question, who taught you that you exist? When did you first come to know? How did you come to know? Did the doctor who delivered you told you that, you have to start existing now? Did you learn how to come into being? Were you trained for it? None of it. It was self-revealed. So when existence itself is self-revealed, we all are super learning mechanisms. Human being is a super learning mechanism who is here to learn, and the most subtlest, highest form of learning is through revelations, which then translates into, that can be channelized into the other forms of learning. So from one form, which is revelation, it can then be translated into intuitive learning. It can be translated into sensorial learning, learning via comparison, learning via inference, learning via imagination, hypothesis. All this learning from inside out is a process which starts with revelation. And one who focuses completely on self-revelation as a source of knowledge is called a rishi. They have, in their revelations, received these abstract concepts of the universe as algorithms. It's like a software that runs your phone or your laptop, right? You don't see the codes. It's invisible. But what you see are the applications and what you can interact with. And that abstract quality, those principles together is called the spirit of a human being. When you connect to that, you're called spiritual, basically. Okay. And those can't be approached via textbooks or literature. It is approached via patterns. It's approached via vibrations. Patterns which are called yantras, vibrations and sounds, resonances which are called mantras. And this methodology of approaching the abstract using patterns and resonances put together is what is called as tantra. It's a technique of, it's almost like the person who's well-versed with what a software is has a different way of writing it. They have a syntax for it. They work with the algorithms for it. But when you're sending a mail to somebody, you're actually typing in a language that you know. You're not typing in zeros and ones. But if you go behind and see what is it actually made of, it could be made of dots and zeros and ones. So the way of approach for the program is very different from the application. The way of approach to the abstract or the spirit is very different from how you approach a sensorial learning. So Sanatana Dharma is that foundational basic principles that are for all human beings, every individual human life and collective human life. Those principles have given, and those principles have become the foundation for a community of people called Bharatiyas, Bharata, a community of people called Bharata, whose pursuit in life, if you associate that word Bharata with yourself, that means knowledge is your pursuit. And knowledge not limited to the sensorial alone, knowledge primarily springing from the spiritual. Then moving on to the mental, emotional, intellectual, sensorial. So this is where Sanatana Dharma is. Is it a religion? No. Can many religions take birth from it? Yes. Because it's something universal, theism, theology is part of it. Many philosophies can come out of it. Many ideologies can come out of it. Many theories can be founded out of it. Many ideas and many facts also. All these varieties are the varieties of truth. The varieties of truth. So you can go to a universal truth of existence, or you can come to a very sensorial, factual experience of life on this planet. So that's where this is. So if you're talking about Gurukulam education and it is on the foundation of Sanatana Dharma, then these are the few points that we have to keep in mind. And each of this abstract concept, for you to relate to it, like I said, if you are working on your laptop, probably you're looking at the application. If you're looking at your phone, you're working on the apps, you're interacting with the screen. You're not interacting with what is the operating system. Someone else is actually creating that for you and has given you the power to interact with such a great technical marvel. The power is given to you by putting it in the form of an app, in the form of an icon, which is on your screen, and then giving you directions of how to operate that icon. I'm sure no one looks at the phone and just stares at the WhatsApp icon to open it. You know that you have to move your finger and touch it. So you're given access to this great foundation called Sanatana Dharma with icons, with the iconography, and with the physical symbolism, which then become important elements of your culture, which then become the shapes and forms of devatas, and the ways to activate these forms, just like how you will open an app on your phone by actually going and touching it, and first you register or you enter your details or something like that. The way you use it is what is loosely translated as rituals, the metaphysical practices. This is the foundation of Sanatana Dharma when it comes to education. Devatas, from the point of view of education, devatas are like the props that we can use to learn the most abstract thing. You can't go out of the atmosphere of the earth and look down. Everyone can't do it. Of how what a beautiful blue crystal ball it looks like. But you use the globe. You use the globe to get an idea of it. It's a geographical manipulative. You can't complex formulas of mathematics and algebra are solved very easily with a set of Based-on blocks because they are mathematical manipulative. An atlas is a geographical manipulative. A small experiment of a levitating pencil is a science manipulative. Devatas are like wisdom manipulatives. They are the icons given for us to interact with and transact with, such that abstract concepts come into our learning and therefore wisdom is generated. So if you ask me for the foundations of Sanatana Dharma that people should know before entering into the Gurukulam, these are the foundations. And with this foundation given, I think all 9 points become ours, irrespective of what the slides are going to be, because this is not the idea that people have about Hinduism or about Devatas or about Sanatana Dharma. So given that, we should go through the points to see. The previous one was Gurukulam system, Sanatana, foundations of Sanatana Dharma, right?
Previous time was, I think, Sanatana Dharma is a compass.
Nutan, I can share if you would like.
Yeah, I don't know, it's stuck. It's not
Yeah,
good.
I'll do that.
Okay. Just
See the slides?
Yes.
Okay. So this was the first one to start off with setting the context.
So does it provide a compass for life? Sanatana Dharma? If the foundations what you laid out, does it provide?
yes,
Okay.
indeed.
Absolutely does, right?
Indeed,
It does.
yeah.
Because it starts very simple. First 10 years of a child's life, 11 years, okay, up to the age of 10 or 11, the Gurukulam system teaches a child or encourages a child to learn how to learn. So it's a preparation of how to learn, right? So then from there, it goes on to who are you, in the sense, what are you made of? What is your body made of? What is your emotion made of? What is your mind made of? What is your spirit made of? All this put together, how does it operate? Why do you think in a particular way? How do you feel in a particular way? How does your body interact with that? How does the expression come out? So it provides an entire compass for life itself. What is the meaning of a life experience? Who is responsible in manifesting your life experience? There's no concept of an external supernatural energy that is pre-deciding your destiny. So Sanatana Dharma's foundations puts you bang in the middle of the position of responsibility for the manifestation of your own life. Right? So that's a point for how Sanatana Dharma provides a compass for life. If you move on to the next one, we'll cover all the 9 and then we'll go for our 2 and 4. Again, this is what it is based on, universal truths and eternal principles, which always were and always will be. So do we leave this as if you want to believe so? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
If you want to counter it, you just leave it. If you have faith on your rishis and if you know that you are a Bharatiya, then you will not have that. Right? Self-knowledge guides children towards a purposeful existence. This is brilliant. You ask any human being, what's the purpose of a spoon? They'll tell you. What's the purpose of a table? They'll tell you. What's the purpose of a sofa? They'll tell you. And if you ask any human being, tell me what's your purpose, but you can't bring a role into it. Any purpose that has been declared will have a role attached. If you take away all roles of personalities that you have and just ask, why are you? What is the purpose of a creation? If that question can be answered, and you might have a reason to live. Your child might be a reason. Your parents might be a reason, but are they the purpose? So that big question is answered at a very, very early age in the foundations of Sanatana Dharma. Of course, I mean after 11, after the preparation to learn is done. So the next one is, does it enhance your life experience?
Absolutely.
And the minute you say enhance, many people think it's all my wishes will come true if I have the foundations of Sanatana Dharma.
Yesterday, somebody was asking if children join the Gurukulam, will they not have any diseases at all?
Any desires?
Diseases.
Diseases. Okay,
Yes.
wow.
I didn't know
This
how to
game.
answer that question.
No, someone who
Yeah,
asked that question is heavily diseased. See, like Raiva said, it's not about problem solving, right? Even if you take disease as a signal that the body is giving you, then the approach towards disease itself is very different.
Mm.
And life is not a pursuit of elimination of problems. That will be a very sad thing.
Mhm.
Every problem is only a practical lab for what you've learned theoretically, basically. That's what it is. Like if your maths trainer actually wants you to become an expert in something, they tell you go solve some problems and come. So how do you expertise life if you don't get these problems to solve? So a problem comes to you only if the solution is already inside you waiting to come out. Only then the problem comes to you. And if you realize that if you have learned from it, then the problem never comes back to you. Yes, so it does enhance your life experience because you're not busy figuring out life, right? Imagine living your entire life trying to figure out what life is rather than learn what life is and then go out and celebrate it.
Yes.
This, needless to say, principles of dharma help in building a harmonious society. We are champions of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And this is what we stand for. Because we all know that as Bharatiyas, probably we are the people who embody and safeguard Sanatana Dharma, but Sanatana Dharma is for everybody. It does not come with some copyright mark to, those who hold an Indian passport or something like that. So in fact, there are a lot of non-resident Bharatiyas as well. Not Indians, but people who have the essence of Bharata, but they might not be Indian. So yes, definitely for the entire society. It provides a deep spiritual foundation for life's challenges. I think we almost spoke about it. All the challenges as being opportunities for me to, it's like a software update. Every problem that comes and every time you avoid it, it's not going to work because one fine day your phone is going to switch off by itself. And we call that a crisis situation. We could have just updated it when it came the first time. So life's challenges are almost like that. And then when you get the principles of, okay, how does this thing called life work? When you get that knowledge, wow, the experience of life is completely different. I guess at most times people find it very difficult to even imagine that's possible, but it is. And the next point would be, again, cosmos comes in. Sanatana Dharma encourages living in harmony with the cosmic law because you also find an identity as a cosmic being. One like me will never come again. I'm like a star. Right? So you live one with everything. And a child with its imagination is able to interact even with the grahas and nakshatras as if they were siblings, cosmic siblings. And what a beautiful life that is. So yes, this is something that happens. Have we covered all 9?
Sorry, last
2.
Last 2. This one and the next one.
Yeah, again, interconnectedness of all beings. So sentient or insentient. The brilliance with which we can communicate, interact, and all communication need not be verbal. How brilliant it is that a shape and a form is created as today's Krishna Janmashtami, so I'll talk about him. A form is created, there is a Krishna, you make a Krishna, and then you go infuse that Krishna with your life. You create an emotional connect and you live without having to force yourself into sensorial reality, giving the same importance to your imagination too. Many people have started considering that anything in imagination is fake, myth, whimsical, and it has got nothing to do with our sensorial reality. We have made that by clear distinction. Oh, this is just an imagination. Imagination is given something like, oh, it's mere imagination. It's got nothing to do with my sensorial reality. But when you have an interconnectedness with everything, you are able to, unite the two together, which is so brilliant. So if you were to ask a question, is Krishna your sensorial reality or your reality of your imagination? Krishna as a deity can be both. Krishna as a devata can be my friend as well and can be my imagination as well. So that line disappearing makes that the secret to Gurukulam education is imagination is the mother of all emotion, all intelligence. And Gurukulam education rubs that line away very clearly. It doesn't create that boundary between the two, helps you create this beautiful bridges and channels between the sensorial and what is imagined. And when that happens, what you have is brilliance. A mind that has that gets connected to so many things and to everything. So that's about this point. And the final one is provides a framework for ethical decision making, which is again back to Swadharma, what is appropriate. Not going by what is right and wrong, but looking at what is appropriate. So it's not a moral science class. It's not a class where you get in and people tell you, okay, this is wrong, that is right. It's always about what are you going to prioritize? Your learning and your growth is what you have to prioritize, because that's the purpose for which you have been created. You have this thing called life. Nobody else's wisdom you can borrow. You have to generate your own wisdom. Homo sapien itself means that, right? Sapiens means that kind of sagacity, the kind of wisdom that we are able to express. So these 9 points on the foundations of Sanatana Dharma here. So now it's up to the three of you to decide. You can go for it. Now talk about it. Does your child need Gurukulam education?
I think everybody who had their head nodding and agreeing with you, on all the points that you covered about Sanatana Dharma, each one of them, I don't see where they can contradict you in anything. So if they are in agreement with you, then definitely it is the Gurukulam. Basically, Sanatana is the way to find yourself, and the Gurukulam shows you how.
I'll tell you something where the contradiction comes. I mean, not the contradiction, but the reality comes in, right? People know about this, they appreciate it, they respect the whole thing. But it is, I don't know why it has become that. And I was there earlier before we figured out how significant it is. But this is what is the common take. I will get into philosophy about learning life after I'm done with living half of my life, or maybe 3/4 of it. When I'm coming to a stage of retirement, when I'm done with my career and I'm done with I'm settling down in life, that happens, is when I have time to learn about all of these things as a retirement stuff, right? This is exactly where it is. Learning about religion, learning about spirituality, learning about dharma, all of those things are treated as something that I need to do after I am retired. So if you look at any person who is 60 plus, you're done with your job or whatever. Okay, now let me go back and look at learning about spirituality. I'll become a spiritual person after I'm 60. By which time everything is done. People often don't realize that if I had done this, and that is when it happens also, right? After they have learned it, after 60, then they're like, oh my God, I should have learned this way ahead of time when I was maybe in my 18, 20 or even earlier, so that I could have had a better life or an easier journey or an empowered journey while getting here. This is where the society at large is today. With that, telling somebody that having children learn about Sanatana Dharma, about self-knowledge, about universal knowledge, about the truth, the eternal truth that is there, this is what we are going to base our entire curriculum about. And this is going to help your child have a holistic, super beautiful life, is a thing that people will not hit that subscribe button for. So let's face it. It's a very hard pill to swallow unless you have an experience that, okay, I missed my train. I should have been there 1 minute earlier. This is what happens. And I heard this story from a child who was 10, 12 or something when I was first attending this. When you're preparing a dish and you missed out adding salt or sugar to it, after the dish is created, then you add, the taste of the dish is completely different than adding it right at the time when it's supposed to be added during the cooking process. And that kid today is leading Leela Gurukulam and creating content, sitting here as one of the panelists. So this is a realization that comes to people very late, and it's so late that they feel it's gone. And by the time it is realized, it's too late for everyone. And they will not take the plunge just because somebody told it, unless they go through the experience of learning it, understanding, I missed it. So we need to wait for all of these people to go through that challenge, get that revelation happening, that acceptance dawning upon them, and then they say, I should have done this. But then we have lost 3 generations of children. So nobody will say, I just put my faith into it because this is a system that has stood the test of time, and I'm going to hit that subscribe button today with full faith and belief. It's not going to happen. If not, this country would have had more Gurukulams in every street than the preschools that we see today.
And we did. Not so long ago.
Yeah. I'm talking about today's day and age.
Yeah, exactly. Recorded fact. Yeah. Recorded fact in the 1800s by Sri Dharampal that this we did. Every gully, every nukkad had a Gurukulam following the same content. Even the syllabus that was taught, the curriculum that was taught to children, it's there. So imagine 2 things. Gurukulam typically means there is a mentor, there is a student mentorship happening. So under one guru, there could be even 10,000 children. It wouldn't make a difference. Because the mentorship that happened, senior students passing on to the junior students and continuing, starting from the guru, just imagine the concept. The guru is one who is learning. The guru is one who is continuously learning and being in the presence of that energy. It's so contagious that you also become a learner. It's very different from the concept of a teacher who has information and is coming to download it onto you. Guru is not a person who knows everything. Guru is a person who's learning all the time. See where that concept is. That's why even, it's almost like adding insult to injury, but I don't know in which way I'm putting it. I don't mean it in a very negative connotation. I know it's a great effort, but trying to bring IKT back into the mainstream syllabus is not the answer. You need somebody with that gurutvam inside them. You need that energy of somebody who's passionate enough to learn it. Otherwise, it becomes yet another textbook, yet another memorization, and yet another exam. And it's just, I would put it as plain common sense. You take IKT anywhere, and the children are given, okay, Charaka's work in medicine, Aryabhata's work in mathematics, Bhaskaracharya's work, all these brilliant minds of Bharata, or this particular Upanishad written by, by Yajnavalkya, whatever they're talking about, you're giving me the end product of somebody's journey. Tell me how a Bhaskaracharya is built. Did Bhaskaracharya reach where he reached by learning ABCs and 1, 2, 3s at the age of 3? How are these rishis and rishikas created? What's their journey? 1,000 years back, what was a child doing at the age of 3? 1,000 years back, what was a child doing at the age of 9? How did such brilliant minds come to be? What is a process through which they were taken? I think we're having an internet glitch here. But then, yeah, I think, yeah, even the internet is not supporting the Gurukulam for this. So the entire process of how a child reaches to be in that place where they can create a body of work like this. So it's like everyone is really, really interested to listen to what Arjuna heard from Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. I wonder why nobody thinks about how did Krishna reach there. such that he can live the Gita. Is that not aspirational for me as a human being? So think about it. Bringing those, making a textbook out of Bhagavad Gita is not the same as allowing the Gita to be divined from within you. There's so much of difference between the two. So even with the bringing of IKT and familiarizing children with Indian knowledge, traditions and systems, are we actually are we filling the void? Are we trying to give the message that what you can get from a Gurukulam, you can get just because one subject of IKT has been added? I had so much hopes at one point of time from a completely Indian school, a whole board educational board coming to this country. And the disappointment in seeing the textbooks that they've created. The only thing that has been done is wherever John sat under the tree or, something like that, they just change the names. It's the same content, it's the same thing, they've just changed the names. So by giving Indian names and Indian context, have you made it now Indian? So the pride of being a Bharatiya and the greatest contribution that we have to entire humanity with the principles of Sanatana Dharma, and yes, all ethnic communities around the world and all spiritual communities around the world speak about the same thing. The aspect of universality is there in everybody. But our rishis have expertised in human learning mechanisms. Our rishis have given us these manipulatives and made it sensorial and given us these props to spiritual learning. And that is what our speciality is. As Bharatiyas, that's our speciality. When are we going to look at that? All the people who are in the movement of, we are Swadeshi, our Indic, where do we start? Where do we start for our young ones? Look at the children of the world. There's no stakeholding in their own life they have. An adult who experiences, even gets the experience of getting into a path of spiritual learning, even after feeling a sense of completion, it doesn't translate as a decision they can take for their child because there are more stakeholders there. Society, peer, and then there is sensorial evidence there to say, no, I think my kid is doing really fine, We don't pressurize for anything. Absolutely, we are not, and my kid is absolutely doing fine. So if that is what is coming across, and if this is the ask, without faith on rishis, without faith on the principles of Sanatana Dharma, if you don't have that, then is the Gurukulam for your child? I think it's absolutely not.
So we take all the 9 points in one grasp.
I would willingly give it to you. Yes, I agree.
Now she's a Gurukulam activist who's making sure that humanity loses, right?
No, I am giving you the points and I'm giving my heart to humanity. I feel really sad.
We are giving the points. Actually, we are activists now who are awakening.
We started the day with activism and activists, people trying to save the planet, cut down on pollution, what is happening, and the corruptions and stuff like that. The whole point there is what kind of a world are we leaving behind for our children or the next generation? I think the activism now that should stand up is what kind of children are we going to leave behind for the world?
Yeah, absolutely.
For the future. So if somebody is an activist in that woke culture, that should become a woke culture actually.
Yes, I agree with you.
So till that happens, we need to do more of these sessions.
We have this beautiful institutions called temples who are standing as witnesses. We haven't even, addressed the apathy that society has got to the temples, educational institutions which are standing there. Devatas who are learning props and mediums for us. It's just one hand reach away. Right? So, Yeah. So in today's 27, our tally is 21 and 6.
We are 21 to 6. Yeah.
21 to 6. So we start tomorrow again, and we have some interesting categories coming up. So let's see what happens where it is pitched. But I hope everyone who watches this realizes that the Gurukulam is not for your child. So there's a whole list of things that you have to be basically like, Nutanma, like Nutanma, I think is in this session or the previous when you said, if you are a person who's happy and complete, then you are the go-to person to educate your child. You become the Gurukulam, right? So yes, absolutely. I think on that note, we have had a great day 1. Looking forward a lot to day 2. Are there any questions from the audience that we have to?
Not as of
Open up
now.
the chat.
Yeah. It's open. If anybody has any questions, you can just put it out on the chat. Nothing that's come through yet.
So that's it, proving more and more why the Gurukulam is not for most of the children of this world. But definitely 2 things can happen. If there is even one parent, one brilliant soul who transcends all of this, then Gurukulam is here for you.
Yes.
You don't know how many Gurukulams are operating in this land. Bharata today, if we just have a collection of the number of Gurukulams that are working in Bharata, it's brilliant. And if they're still working, there have to be at least some people who are, who have transcended all these challenges. And being an activist and going at it is also fun. But for me, Nutanma, with all the love that I have for you, I look at you like the Gurukulam squirrel.
Oh,
It's fun to be that.
yeah, it is. I'm enjoying it. So I'm extremely passionate about it because I'm speaking my truth. I'm speaking from my lived experiences, and the simple joy that I have received from this, I want it for everybody.
Brilliant. The very fact that you want to share the joy. In simple words, let me put it what I've always told people. Living a spiritual life is a party. It's the funnest, most life you can have. and that's hands down, anybody would tell you that. Especially somebody who has not negated the Bhakti Marga completely will absolutely tell you it's a joy. Right? So at that note, shall we call it a day?
Yes.
Absolutely. A brilliant day.
Very nice day. Good night, everybody. See you all tomorrow again. We start at 11.
Yep. Same link, same place.
Yeah. And please do get more of your friends.
And same people. Yeah. Get more new people so that we have company. See you everyone. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.